Welcome to Dreamy Sleep Tales, where each night we drift together into worlds of wonder. And tonight, you can hear the gentle sound of the sea in the background, guiding you into calm and peace. I'm your host, and I'm so glad you've joined me by the shore of dreams. As the waves lap softly against the rocks and the moonlight dances on the water, settle in, close your eyes, and let the story carry you away. Tonight's tale is The House That Waited for Dreams, an enchanting journey of hope, courage, and magic high up on a cliff where sky and sea meet. So take a deep breath, let the ocean's lullaby wash over you, and prepare to step into a world where every dream holds a key. The seaside village of Solmere lay cradled between rolling green hills and the endless blue of the ocean. Each evening, the sun dipped low and painted the waves gold, and every heart in Solmere beat to the steady rhythm of tides. But as much as the village thrived on salt-kissed breezes and lantern-lit streets, one secret simmered beyond its borders, high upon a craggy cliff, in a house that waited. They whispered about it in taverns and by hearth fires. A forgotten house wrapped in flowers that glowed with the color of twilight. No roof tile had been replaced for a century. No candle had been lit within its windows. Yet, as the last sliver of sun slipped beneath the horizon, the front door would creak open, a hollow invitation, and close again before stars had time to gather. It waits for someone, the villagers said, but none dared climb the winding path at night. Auron arrived in Solmere only a fortnight ago. Shy and observant, he carried a sketchbook and pencils through which he tried to capture every sunrise. He'd left behind crowded streets and distant memories to seek peace by the sea. Yet almost before he unpacked his few possessions, his dreams began to stir. Each night, he found himself on the cliff's slope, petals brushing his ankles as a soft voice, like wind through reeds, whispered his name. In these dreams, the house stood open, glowing flowers lining its threshold, and a girl with hair the color of dawn reached out to him. Her eyes held both hope and sorrow. He had never met her in waking life, but the ache to help her felt as familiar as his own heart beating in his chest. One dusky evening, Auron paused on the village green, listening to the gulls cry and waves hush. The hush grew so deep it felt like a question. Was he meant to heed the call? Without a second thought, he slipped away from the lantern-lit houses and began climbing the ancient stone path. Wildflowers nodded in his wake, petals opening like tiny beacons in the dimming light. The wind tugged at his coat as if urging him onward. As Auron crested the final rise, the world seemed to hold its breath. Below him, the ocean stretched to the horizon, silver beneath an indigo sky. And there it stood, the house, dark bones wrapped in the glow of purple and rose blooms, its door ajar as though beckoning him home. His heart thudded inside his ribs. It's real, he thought, stepping forward, every sense alive with wonder and a thrilling, gentle fear. He reached the threshold. The air inside was cool, scented faintly of old paper and midnight blossoms. The door swung closed behind him with a sigh. In the hush that followed, Auron knew his journey had truly begun. Auron's footsteps echoed softly on the wooden floorboards, though he saw no one. The house felt alive, as if the walls remembered every laughter and tear that had ever filled its rooms. He paused in a grand foyer where a chandelier of crystal stalactites hovered just above his head, refracting the remaining light into faint rainbows that danced on the walls. Portraits lined the corridor, stone-faced ancestors, children in frock coats, and women in flowing gowns. But as Auron stepped closer, the eyes in those portraits flickered, as though watching him, tattooed with longing. Drawing a steadying breath, he pressed onward, following the hush of a lullaby drifting through the air. The melody led him up a spiral staircase wrapped in flowering vines whose blossoms pulsed with a soft inner glow. Each step felt weightless, as though the house itself was lifting him toward a secret. At the top, Auron found a circular room with tall windows arched like church doors. Outside, the sky shimmered with distant stars. In the center, floating in midair, was a single bookshelf, its volumes drifting gently as if caught in an unseen breeze. He reached out and plucked one from the stack. The cover read, dreams and their keepers, its letters written in silver script that rippled like moonlight. As he opened it, voices whispered around him, fragments of children's laughter, sighs of wishes unspoken, the hushed fears of midnight. The pages turned on their own, stopping at a chapter titled The Dreamkeeper's Sacrifice. Auron's pulse quickened. He had to know more. Suddenly, a soft glow appeared at the far end of the room. A girl, Aeris, stepped forward, her form translucent as morning mist. Her hair framed her face like sun-kissed clouds, and her eyes held the weight of centuries. "You came," she said, voice tender and echoing. "At last. I've dreamed of you," Auron stammered, heart pounding. "I heard your call." Aeris floated closer. "I was the Dreamkeeper," she explained. "But I became trapped when I tried to save a child from a nightmare that threatened the world of dreams. I bound myself to this house, hoping another brave soul would come. You are that soul, Auron. Fear and purpose warred in Auron's chest. "How do I free you?" he asked, voice steady, despite the whirlwind of wonder around him. Aeris pointed toward a window. "Look beyond the veil of sleep." The glass rippled like water. Through it, Auron saw a world unlike any he'd known. Islands formed of drifting stardust, upside-down waterfalls pouring into space, and creatures made of woven shadows and light. These were the forgotten dreams, the memories that children abandoned or lost to sorrow. "You must enter one," Aeris said, "and retrieve a dream seed, the essence of hope that binds a dream together. Only by gathering 3 can you unlock the heart of this house and break my bond." Auron swallowed hard. The window's edge beckoned him like a promise. What dangers await? "Be wary of the echoes," Aeris warned. "They are the remnants of nightmares, voices and fears given form. They will try to steal your voice, your laughter, your memory of home. Only by sharing your dreams, your truest hopes, can you banish them." Auron nodded, determination settling over him like a cloak. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and stepped forward. His world rippled, and with a soothing swirl of color, he tumbled into the first forgotten dream. Auron found himself standing on soft, silvery sand that glowed beneath a lavender sky. The air was warm and still, carrying the scent of night-blooming flowers. Above him floated islands of rock, upside down, tethered to the sea by glowing vines. Petals drifted through the air like stars fallen from the sky. He remembered Aeris's words, "Retrieve a dream seed, the essence of hope." His heart fluttered as he scanned the shore, searching for any sign of it. Then he saw movement among the petals. A cluster of huge moonflowers, each petal shimmering with an inner light. At their center, nestled like a pearl, was the first dream seed, circular and translucent, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. As Auron reached for it, a hush fell over the isle. From the drifting vines, a creature emerged, an echo shaped like a child's toy, its wooden limbs creaking, eyes empty holes burning with shadow. It advanced on silent feet, and the petals around them still. Auron's throat tightened. He felt an echo of fear swirl inside him. The creature raised one jagged hand as though to snatch the dream seed for its own. He remembered Aeris's guidance. Share your dream, your truest hope, to banish them. Closing his eyes, Auron thought of the moment he first saw the cliff's house in his dream. The spark of wonder, the promise of purpose, and the gentle hope that someone, anyone, would answer the call. He opened his eyes and spoke, voice steady. "When I first dreamed of this place, I felt a warmth in my soul, like I was meant to find something greater than myself. I believe in the power of hope, in the beauty of a dream that can light the darkest night." A gentle warmth spread from his chest into his arms, and the dream seed in his hand glowed brighter. The echo shuddered, creaking as if its wooden joints were loosening. Light spilled from Auron's words, weaving around the creature until it dissolved into a mist of petals and moonlight. Heart racing, Auron collected the dream seed. It felt warm and alive, vibrating with possibilities. He held it close, marveling at its glow, then turned toward a ripple in the air, the portal back to the house. As he stepped through, silver petals fell around him, drifting upward toward the floating isles. The lavender sky dissolved, and he found himself once more in the circular room. Aeris, waiting. "You've done well," she whispered, her smile soft as the hush of dawn. "Two more dream seeds remain. Rest now and prepare your heart. The next dream will test more than your hope. It will demand bravery against the darkest fears." Auron nodded, placing the first seed in a glowing alcove beside the bookshelf. Its light pulsed in time with his heartbeat, promising the next step in his journey. Outside, rain began to patter faintly against the windows, as if offering a lullaby to steady his heart. Auron closed his eyes, feeling both relief and anticipation. 1,000 petals had drifted into memory. One dream seed secured, and 2 adventures awaited beyond the veil of sleep. Auron awoke on a narrow path carpeted with velvet moss. The soft footsteps of unseen creatures echoing in the gloom. Around him, towering trees arched overhead, their black bark etched with faint silver runes that pulsed like distant stars. A mist curled between their trunks, carrying with it soft, whispering voices, fragments of forgotten fears. Aeris's words echoed in his mind. "This dream will demand bravery against the darkest fears." Steeling himself, Auron stepped forward. With each footfall, the runes shimmered and the whispers grew louder, twisting into half-remembered taunts. "You don't belong. You'll never escape." He squared his shoulders and pressed on, following a dim glow weaving through the mist. Soon, he reached a clearing where a still pool mirrored the moonless sky. Perched at its edge was a tall figure cloaked in shadow, an echo of fear, its face a blank mask that reflected Auron's own doubt back at him. The echo raised a hand, and all at once the forest around Auron sprang to life with his worst nightmares. The cliffs turned to slick obsidian, winds shrieked like banshees, and the path behind him vanished. Heart pounding, Auron realized he stood on a narrow ledge above a bottomless chasm. The misty voices grew to a roar, urging him to jump. His legs shook. "I can't do this," he thought, fear squeezing his chest. But then he remembered the first dream seed's warm glow and Aeris's hopeful smile. This wasn't just about escaping, it was about standing his ground. Drawing a breath that steadied his racing heart, Auron closed his eyes and pictured the people he loved, the villagers of Solmare who welcomed him, the sketchbook pages filled with sunrise colors, the gentle lullaby of rain against his window. He whispered their names into the darkness. When he opened his eyes, the ledge beneath his feet solidified. The mist retreated, and the echo recoiled. Its mask cracked, revealing a swirling storm of fears inside. Auron took a single step forward and held out his hand, offering his compassion to the broken spirit. "My courage comes from the light I carry in my heart," he said firmly. "I will not be consumed by fear." A brilliant shaft of light shot from his palm, piercing the echo's form. The darkness fragmented into shards of silver mist, dissolving into the air. Auron exhaled, the tension draining from his limbs as the forest sighed in relief. In the center of the clearing, a second dream seed surfaced from the pool, glowing a deep sapphire. Auron reached down and lifted it, its cool radiance filling him with calm resolve. Before the path home appeared, a soft voice drifted through the trees. Aeris's voice. "You have shown true bravery. One more dream seed awaits in the domain of memory itself. Rest now. Your final trial draws near." The clearing faded, and Auron drifted back through the forest, dream seed in hand, until he found himself once again in the house's circular room. The two seeds pulsed together in their alcove, awaiting the final key. Outside, the rain's lullaby grew stronger, as though celebrating his triumph. Auron closed his eyes, allowing the gentle rhythm to cradle him, readying his heart for the last journey into the realm of forgotten memories. Auron opened his eyes to find himself in a vast hall of mirrors, each pane framed in tendrils of forgotten dreams. Candlelight flickered along marble columns, casting shadows that danced like distant echoes. Reflected in every mirror was a fragment of his past. The day he left home, the sketchbook pages he filled on the cliffs, the first kind words he heard in Solmare. Yet as he stepped forward, the mirrors rippled, and those reflections warped into moments he wished he could forget. Times of doubt, of loneliness, of mistakes that haunted his heart. A wistful whisper floated through the hall. Only by embracing your true self can you claim the essence of your memory. Auron realized this was his final trial. He must gather the last dream seed, the core of his own memory, and place it alongside the others to free Aeris. He approached the nearest mirror. Within its silvery depths, he saw himself as a smaller boy, shyly sketching behind tall fences. The scene shifted, showing him stumbling under a harsh word, tears in his eyes. Auron felt that old ache, but instead of turning away, he stepped closer. "I am more than my fears," he whispered. "I am the hopes I chase, the friends I've found, and the dreams I dare to dream." He reached out, fingertips grazing the cold glass. The mirror trembled, and with a soft crack, it melted away like water, revealing the third dream seed resting on a pedestal, warm amber glowing with every cherished moment. As he lifted it, a chorus of gentle voices swelled around him. Memories of laughter by the sea, of wind in his hair, of the first time he sketched Aeris's face in his dreams. The hall seemed to breathe, the candles brightening as the three seeds pulsed in unison. Suddenly, the mirrors dissolved, and Auron found himself back in the circular room, Aeris, standing at the bookshelf. Her eyes gleamed with gratitude. "You have reclaimed what was lost, and in doing so, you have healed this house and my heart." Auron placed the amber seed beside the others. The alcove filled with radiant light. The room shimmered, then shifted as if waking from a long sleep. Flowers bloomed along the walls, petals opening to reveal new portraits. Auron and Aeris, hand in hand, smiling amid a sea of stars. A gentle breeze stirred the pages of dreams and their keepers, now glowing with golden script. Aeris reached for Auron's hand. "Thank you, brave dream seeker. The house will now rest, freed from its waiting." Outside, dawn's first light painted the sky in pinks and golds. The door creaked open one final time. Aeris turned, her form solidifying into a living reality. She offered Auron a single silver petal that pulsed with warmth. "Keep this gift as a reminder. Dreams endure when hope and courage light the way. Auron stepped through the house's front door as the first rays of sun touched the horizon, each beam scattering through the glowing blooms like liquid gold. The forgotten house, no longer silent, breathed with renewed life. Flowers swayed in an unfelt breeze, their petals releasing motes of light that drifted upward, vanishing into the morning sky. Auron, no, Aeris, smiled beside him, her hand warm in his. "This place will sleep now," she whispered, her voice carrying the soft echo of distant lullabies. "It no longer needs me, nor any dreamkeeper. Because of you, dreams will flow freely once more." Auron nodded, heart full. He glanced at the silver petal in his palm, its gentle pulse in time with his heartbeat. "Will I see you again?" he asked, hope and longing mingling in his chest. Aeris's eyes shone with promise. "Whenever you dream of the cliff, I will be there, and you too may return if your heart calls you." She placed the petal at his chest, where it dissolved into a warm glow, merging with the light of the 3 dream seeds he had placed in the alcove. With a final smile, Aeris faded into the morning mist, leaving behind the soft scent of night-blooming flowers and the memory of her whispered laughter. Auron turned and watched the house gently dissolve into petals and dawn light, drifting skyward until nothing remained but a single bloom perched on the cliff's edge. He walked down the winding path as the rain began again. Soft, rhythmic drops that tapped lightly on leaves and rocks. Each patter sounded like a gentle heartbeat, lulling the world to rest. By the time he reached the village green, his sketchbook was in hand, pages fluttering as if eager to record the morning's wonders. He paused under a lantern post, turning the pages to a blank spread. With a steady hand and a heart still bright from adventure, Auron sketched the rising sun, the cliff, and the solitary flower glowing against the sky. At the bottom of the page, he wrote a single line: "Dreams light the darkest night." As he closed the book and tucked it under his arm, the rain's lullaby grew softer, a peaceful refrain that promised rest. He walked home, each step carrying him closer to his own bed, where dreams awaited. And though his eyes were heavy, Auron's heart brimmed with wonder, his soul alight with hope. Now, dear listener, rest your head upon your pillow. Imagine the gentle glow of that single flower drifting into your dreams. Feel the soft patter of rain against your window, lulling you deeper into peaceful slumber. Let your breath grow slow and steady as you journey into your own realm of dreams, where hope and courage guide every step. Good night. Sleep tight, and may your dreams light the way until morning's gentle light.